Well, I am joined by a very special guest, young lady that I have known since junior high, probably.
Yeah.
Amy Bates, Amy Thornton Bates. Amy Thornton, as I used to know her. Come to find out, Amy is in the events business pre-COVID, coming to us from Springdale, Arkansas. Is that where you're at?
Right around Fayetteville.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so impressed with what you provide here for everyone in the industry. So thank you, Jason.
You're welcome. So, have you been? Not since junior high. How have you been the past 6 months?
That would be a long conversation.
Yeah, this is only 10-minute podcast.
Yeah, sorry, we'll consolidate it. It's definitely been an awakening. I've had an events business for almost 20 years now, and you prepare for things to happen to your business, whether it be economy or some other disaster. But I can tell you, never in my business have I ever had to navigate around something like COVID, and then just how it can just take you, cut you off at the knees. So I know that everyone in our industry is feeling this right now, and it's not, in hospitality industry, it's more so you don't lick your wounds. You pivot and you move on. So that's what we're all trying to figure out right now, is just how to pivot the trajectory of our business and our industry.
So tell us a little bit about Bates Events.
Sure. So my husband was transferred to the Fayetteville area in 2002. And I immediately, having come from a background of conferences and trade shows in large corporations, I found that there was a need here. Northwest Arkansas is home to the Walmart headquarters. And if you are providing services or products to Walmart, you're required to have an office here. So we have over 1,600 consumer product good companies right here in Arkansas: Clorox, Proctor&Gamble, M&M's, Coke, etc., Duracell. So there was a need here. Walmart really has a very community-minded mentality. So all of these CPG companies need to follow suit with that. And what we found was that there was a need in the market for event planning right here. Now that includes certainly some nonprofit events, galas, etc. There's a wedding industry as well. But we found that brand activation and just that community outreach was very important. So we started our first event with Proctor&Gamble, word spread, and we've been around 18 years now. So we do incentive travel, conferences and trade shows. We do go outside of the Northwest Arkansas area. We've got events all throughout the nation. And then through our incentive travel program that we do with a lot of the companies in our area and beyond, we're global as well. So it's been a fun ride, I'll tell you that.
Well, it ain't over yet. So you're probably intimate with the hotels in your area.
Yeah.
And have been. Okay.
And beyond, yes.
Yeah. So you talked about pivoting. Have you been talking to those hotels about what can be done now, even though this thing's not over?
Absolutely. So, Jason, one of the things that we encourage, that we let our clients know, is that we do have intimate relationships with resorts and hotels, conference centers, etc. They are listening to us right now, which we so appreciate. They're asking us, what can we do to get you back? And what we're letting our partners know is you just need to elevate the trust factor with your clients, such as me. And that is that can start at the ground level. In fact, I was just speaking with a client on the phone. They walked into a hotel last week and didn't find any hand sanitization stations. They went to the front desk and said, "Where are the hand sanitization?" And the front desk said, "Oh, well, they are up in your room. They're right next to the lotions and whatnot." It was too hard to find. The trust factor was immediately diminished. So we're letting those hotel partners know, listen, you've got to be front and center. There is never a time more than there is right now, where you're on stage, you are performing, and you've got to let the guests know and clients such as myself know that safety is first. So whether that be the abundance of the hand sanitization, whether that be, how you're explaining to the client how you're making things safe, how you're following guidelines, you're front and center right now. Make sure that you're meeting those expectations and exceeding those expectations of people like myself.
With the time remaining, do you have any advice for hoteliers beyond what you've already explained?
Well, I think as we're, hopefully we're moving out of the intensity of COVID. I don't think it's going to go away, but I do think we're moving out of it. I would love to ask hoteliers to really look at their P&Ls and understand. It's almost like with a festival, which events is what I do. You know that when you put a festival on, for the first about 3 years, you're not going to get any profitability. The ROI is that interest in the festival, getting people excited about it, getting them engaged. By the third year, you are making money. But you've got to introduce it in some form or fashion. My hope is that hotels will look at this COVID in the same way. It's going to take a couple of years for us to build back up to the revenue and the profitability that they've been receiving in the past. If they would look at events in hotels and perhaps think about lowering the price, put that F&B at a lower marker, consider reducing your AV costs, your room fees, etc., so that we can hit the client with, it's not going to cost as much. And knowing that there's going to be additional costs for the hotel, for myself, PPE, safety features, etc. But I think we need to almost start at ground zero and say, our profitability is going to be lower for a while.
So you're getting pushback from corporate clients on current pricing?
Completely. A lot of corporations with layoffs, and they're taking pay cuts and percentages in every field. So why in the world would you have an event that's going to cost X? So we're asking the hotels and other partners in the events field, can you lower your prices? We're having to lower our prices as well. So I think it's just, if we were so robust right before COVID hit, if we could just work as a group and say, how can we still provide effective, exciting events, but at a lower price? We're going to have to build, once again, the word is trust. We're going to have to build the trust in the community that we are taking every measure possible to provide a safe environment for events. And we're just hoping that the hotels see that as a partnership and know that we're all having to take a deep dive into our pockets and make that decision. Events can't go away. We as individuals in our community, we need those events. We need that interaction. We're not going to have just screen to screen interaction for the next, umpteen years. So let's go out and show, the community, we can have safe events and we can have exhilarating and exciting events, whether that be virtual, in person, hybrid, etc. But really work with us on pricing right now so that we can then go back to the client and say, hey, they're willing to reduce, and that's very helpful.
Okay, and well, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for asking the questions. I appreciate you sharing this information with the hoteliers out there. We believe in you. We're behind you. We'll get through this together.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Bye.